This week in car audio. Tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in. This week in car audio. Tune in, tune in, tune in. We'll be talking about bass, I'm talking about chips, talking about rings. You ain't got them, zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found, check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in, 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 tune in. This week in car audio. Yeah. Tune in. This week in car audio.
Welcome to
Finals
This
this
Week
year.
in Car Audio with your host, the Judge, Doug Stockton, co-hosted by Mr. California Native back coming doing his thing again, Mr. Show Promoter Extraordinaire, Jeffrey Fernandez. What's going on, Jeff?
You're running out of superlatives again.
I am. Because I'm flustered because I'm trying to share it and do all my stuff, and it's getting frustrating.
It looks like the sun. You can see the tan kind of blustering you. But I'm doing okay, man. This whole weekend was crazy. We did a base meet in San Diego. It was my first time there.
Okay.
Beautiful area. Fiesta Island, I think it was called. San Diego Baseheads Spring Barbecue is what they had. So I had asked them if I can come out and do like a base race, test and tune type thing. And they were all for it. And Scott Butler was a guy who I talked to. He said, yeah, come on down. Came down there, metered a few cars, some new people who are just interested in seeing what they would hit. Believe it or not, Rosa and Moses showed up.
Well, they said they were in the podcast, right?
Well, I know they were coming for the show, but they came for the base meet, which is actually 2 hours south of where the show is going to be. So they drove. Wow, they had crazy driving. But so she was there. She was actually practicing base race. Her and Dana were kind of going back and forth in Moses' car.
Really?
Believe it or not, Dana tried it out on her like second or third try. She had like a perfect 9.9, which was kind of funny.
Was she borrowing a car? Or?
Yeah, in Moses' car, which
gotcha.
He's like doing 60s, and he's got those bass knobs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We did that, and then Sunday, we had the show. But I'll talk about the show more later. But just a fun-filled weekend for me. How are you doing, Doug? Talk about the tan.
Oh, there's Eric Hansen says Dana is a natural. We're starting to populate some stuff now.
There we go.
So I had kind of my first day off from not doing things this weekend. And that was Sunday only. Saturday I still worked. I had a funeral last week, so I went and did that. And so I had Sunday off, and I decided, I've been doing honeydews, getting the house ready to sell, obviously, right? So there's all that stuff. But I had Sunday off, so jumped out on my boat that my wife told me. She goes, "You need to get rid of your boat." Because I've already sold it to my neighbor. I've already sold it to my neighbor, right? And so she wants me to get rid of it. I go, but I'm still fishing on it. She goes, exactly. So I figured I'd get as much fishing time as I could in this weekend. I fished for about 6.5, 7 hours. Got my Scottish tan on.
Scottish tan. Is that what they call it?
They call this the Scottish tan, but here, this will show it all right here.
Oh, let me shoot that.
Wow.
Yes.
So,
gotta fix the balance now.
My camera. Messed up. I whitewashed everything. I just went fishing. I've been catching monster bass out here. I think like the average fish I'm catching is a little over 4 pounds. And in bass fishing, largemouth bass, 2 pounds is a good. If you can get 2 pounds as an average fish, that's a good fish. My average is over 4. So I'm catching big old monsters. So just doing that.
That's cool.
I had to reset everything up. That's why we were a minute or two late today.
Ah,
Um, Being as I'm selling my house, I had to hide all of my podcasting stuff. So,
they
so
won't think that's weird.
no. They don't
They're
think
like,
that's
hey,
weird
what's
at
going on?
all.
What's this green screen doing here?
Yeah, yeah.
And
That was the first thing to go.
camera.
Tyler Archer says, "Good evening, fellas." Eric Hansen
Hey.
in the chat there. Eric wants to know about finals. Pretty simple, Eric. We don't have any information. We locked down the date so people can get
Mhm.
that date. We're
Yeah.
trying to figure out the rest of the stuff. We had a couple of meetings this last weekend. That's all we can tell you about finals. So that's the short answer of finals. The long answer will come eventually. Um, anyway, so during last week before we did the show, we got an email, I think early last week or the week before,
Mhm.
saying Cody was now going to become part of the DB Drag family. Instead of just being family, he's
Just being the
actually,
family.
yeah, instead of just being the family itself, he is now going to move into a new role. And
It's cool.
they didn't really have they didn't really say what the role was. I don't think because I skim stuff. I get so many emails a day. I just skim through stuff.
Mhm.
But anyway, and so come to find out this morning or this afternoon when we were hooking up. So Tyler just says, okay, so we got nothing on finals. How about extreme rules? That's the other one, Tyler. That is a priority, and actually, there was another meeting this weekend just about extreme rules. So we're trying to get those knocked out. We're trying to get those out to people as fast as we possibly can. If you have suggestions or whatever, please share them with Jeffrey or myself or Wayne, whatever, and we will share that amongst the judges. So hopefully we can push the rules to a way that's beneficial for everybody. And remember, whenever you give us a suggestion for rules, remember we are a worldwide organization. So even though it might work for you or your community, doesn't mean it's a good fit for all of the world, right? Because you got to remember there's different cars, different types of vehicles throughout the world. So whatever rules we make have to be universal across all nations. So always keep that in mind when you're coming up with, because like for me, there's a lot of rules. There's a handful of rules, specifically the voltage rule, that I think silly as hell, but it's a requirement because some of the
Mhm.
other countries have safety requirements in their country, and so they need to have that as part of the rules. So whether I like it or not, it's part of our rules as DB Drag, so that's how we enforce them. It's we present our ideas, we present how we think it should go, and then it's Wayne's, well, maybe now Cody's job
Oh,
to decipher what that is and put it all out. So Spencer Staniland popping in says hello all.
hey.
Anyway, so Cody, why don't you introduce yourself? Because not everybody's known you since you were like what 5 years old. How old are you?
Oh man, I lost track a while ago.
So what are you? You're like what 22, 23?
Super close. I'm 25 this year.
You're 25. I've been a DB drag judge since you were 1 years old. So,
Wow.
um, so with that being said, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us all who you are, what you're doing, and how all that works, please.
For sure. Well, first, I just want to say thanks for having me on the show today. It's really great to be here. I appreciate your time, and it's awesome to be joining on. With DB Drag Racing, I'm really hyped about the role. A major focus for me in joining on with DB Drag Racing, I've been raised around it. It's in my DNA, been around it my whole life. So for me, I'm going to be making a push to get more judges signed on. So if you're interested, feel free to email or message me. We want to have as many events as possible, and we want them to be high quality where people can come out and compete. And we also want to make it so the newbies, maybe even folks like myself or people who haven't been around as long can get into the sport, start competing, even if it's just a, cheap build they put through together on a weekend, or maybe it's something they've been working on for a long time. So, between having more events, bringing on more judges, and growing the sport, making it more fun for everybody, those are some of my top goals here.
All right. Um, so, and your position is now operations manager?
That's correct.
Okay. So, your priority obviously is to get new judges. Is there any other um, is there like a defined role for you, or are you just wherever your dad and mom say this is what you need to do, and then they just release you and you take care of it?
No, it's going to be pretty dynamic like that as we get started. It's definitely going to be a transition period. Not only jumping in with both feet, but also learning from some of the best around, especially our judges. We have best judges in the world. So got tons to learn from you guys. But I'm also going to be here to support some of the newer folks who are still coming in, and also our folks who have been competing for years and years. I'm here to be an extra level of support so I can help with some of those day-to-day operations. But I'm also looking to bring some fresh ideas to help liven up the sport. Can't claim credit for the Kickstart program, but that's just the type of
Mm.
exciting new things you can expect this year.
Oh, so why don't you tell us what that Kickstart program is or entails?
For sure, yeah. So there's a post on our Facebook group if you want all the full breakdown. But essentially, you'll get extra Kickstart points by either registering early, or for the folks who competed in finals last year, you're going to get a few bonus points as well. So it's tiered based off how early you get registered. And
Hmm.
it's because we're looking to kickstart the season, more events, more people who have their membership already purchased, start posting those event stats so you can be competing across the world.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I did see that post
Oh, yep.
about becoming a member or signing up, and you get a certain number of bonus points. And then it was like it just like caught on fire. I saw all kinds of people posting on their Facebook, "Hey, I just became a member. A ton start getting points, and I got 20 points. I got a head start now on all you guys." And I was like, "Wow, if this is like something Cody's bringing to the table." It's like reinvigorating like a lot of like competitors, and they're getting their memberships right away. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah. So I obviously I don't go on Facebook except for Mondays, right? So I'm a busy fella. I don't do all this stuff in general, but I will tell you when I popped on Facebook today to set everything up, yeah, everywhere I saw got my points, and that I didn't know
Yeah.
what they were talking about, right? Like, hey, jump on my points, right?
Mhm.
Eric Hansen says already done, head start.
Oh, there you go.
Wally Johnson says, "What's up, guys?"
Hey.
Um, but anyway, like I said, the thing about it is, even if you aren't going to compete and there's no competitions in your area, we have two opportunities for you here. One, you can get a head jump on your points
Yeah.
if there's no competitions in your area, right? That's a bonus. Number two is you also have the opportunity, like you said, we're looking for 1X judges. The
Mhm.
judging staff we have is super helpful. We have Tristan and uh,
Tiffany out there in
Tiffany and Tristan.
Barbados.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Tiffany's in China right now.
Oh, right.
But yeah, we got Tiffany and Tristan, and they'll tell you we're super helpful as much as we can. Any judges, if you have questions about how to set up a venue, you give us like a Google Maps version. We'll help. Hey, put your tower here, park your cars like this, run your lanes like this. We're always willing to help. Other thing is we'll help you guys figure out what you know things you need. Like whenever you
Hmm.
go to a venue, you always ask the sponsor or whatever, can you please put out some trash cans? Just something simple like that you wouldn't normally think of. Us as judges have been doing it so long that we just, we know what you need to do and we're here to help you. We want you to be successful. We want DB Drag to be the world's premiere. Even if some judge that never done a show before, we want to help make their
Yeah.
show at the best it could possibly be.
Well, case in point, we have Jody Green out in New Zealand, I think,
Right?
right? He's
Yep.
he's been messaging us and
Mm-hmm.
all hours, and I kind of feel like DB Drag should be paying my cell phone bill because he's asking me questions on how to set up his events and certain rules questions and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's one of the guys who's taking advantage of definitely our assistance, and again, we just want to be able to bring quality to the shows. And if it's something that it's
Mhm.
a quick, hey, should I do it this way? Or, hey,
Yep.
I want your advice on something like that. That's what we're here for. And,
Yep.
and it's a good thing we got Cody now on board. So he actually came out to a show of mine I did in Austin, but that was probably because, he's from Austin. So it was a quick visit for him. But yeah, so hopefully we'll get to see him more, at the events and in the lanes.
hmm So right behind you, Cody, I see a Texas A&M. Looks like wrestling or weightlifting, maybe. What is that Texas A&M stuff about behind you?
Got an A&M banner. I was an Aggie for 4 years, some of the best 4 years of my life. College Station, Texas, Texas A&M. I heard recently there's this new thing going around called battered Aggie syndrome, and it's every time we got this really great team that loses in a tournament or a playoff game, but you know what? We'll stand right by them through all of it. Uh, but I'm a huge Aggie football fan, baseball,
uh,
basketball, even though we're not in the tournament anymore. Love watching those guys play and compete. I'm a competitor at my core. So
Yep.
sports are one of my favorite things to watch. And that's my school. It's my alma mater right there.
Yeah. And for
it's
people that don't
cool.
know, he was a football player, had a injury that sidelined him. Well, that was in your senior year of high school, right?
Great memory. So I was playing mostly offensive line, but I got to
hmm
do a little bit of quarterback, a little bit of
Okay.
kicker for a couple games there.
Yeah.
And eventually just got my bell rung one too many times and
Oh,
figured, hey, I gotta save these brain cells for the base.
Yeah. So some older folks would believe that you're destroying them with bass. So we would disagree. What did you study in college then?
I was studying business management,
Okay.
also minored in hospitality, working in hotels and
Okay.
entertaining guests and running events. And I also was into sales as well, had a professional distinction in sales.
Okay.
That's where I've been working the last few years.
Okay. So you actually have a background through college that could potentially help DB Drag grow, right? You're in sales, promotional stuff, that kind of thing. And it doesn't hurt that your mom and dad are Sleece and Wayne Harris, right? So your mom is phenomenal at the graphic arts and
mhm.
understanding promotional stuff to get out there. Your dad, obviously, on the technical stuff is just phenomenal. One of the advantages I really see to having Cody on board is now when I'm not saying your dad's comfortable yet, but when he gets comfortable with what you're doing and he can just release you, it'll give him time to focus on things on the technical aspect, right? Is that like one of the goals here?
You're exactly correct. I don't use this word lightly, but he is a genius.
Uh huh.
He runs the show on the technical side, and that is just something so beyond my scope of understanding. He's working light years ahead of, your average coder, but he really needs a lot of time and effort to focus on, working on the technology, working
hmm
on the software, the hardware, and also, helping with tech support. That's one area where I could start to step in, as I get that fundamental understanding of, all the solutions he's providing. So as I start to help him with more of that day to day, whether it be with Celise and some of the marketing efforts and bringing in new judges, or whether it be with Wayne over here, my dad, helping on tech support side, helping people live, escalating questions and support requests. There's a lot of areas where they both need a helping hand, and our judges do too.
Okay. Oh, Tristan says he was celebrating his birthday with the girls. Happy
Oh,
birthday,
happy
Tristan.
birthday.
Yeah, it's a bummer
Cheers.
Tiffany can't be there with you. So, okay. So, obviously, you were born into bass, right? What is your what is your first memory of like just an insane stereo system? Was it your dad's? Was it somebody else's? Or
So I got a funny story. We were up in Idaho,
uh huh.
and I don't know if this is my first memory, but this one sticks with me. I was
Okay.
maybe 3, 4 years old, real. real little guy. I don't know if I was ever that little, but little as you can get.
Mhm.
And we pull up to a gas station, and there's an old troop transport truck, National Guard, Army, something like
Mhm.
that. And my dad's driving the Terminator.
Okay.
And, so the guy sees the old Hot Rod Flames. He says, "Hey, I'll trade cars with you. You want to trade?" Cranks up the bass and shakes the room. He goes, "Whoa," blew him away. And I think that was one of my first core memories of just hearing how loud it can get. But also, being at the shows, even as a little kid, I remember that sticking with me and thinking it was the coolest thing, seeing someone do a hair trick.
Okay. Yep. So, so is your so for people that don't know, there's Cody and then there's Sierra, which is his sister. Is she going to be coming into the fold to kind of fill in your mom's side because she went to school to do marketing and graphics and stuff like that? So she is the plan on to continue the business on with you and your sister, or?
So Sierra is definitely a wild card. She can charter her own course out there like
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
best of them. So it'll be tough to say, if she ends up joining the family business or if she ends up starting a top law firm in New York or LA. Really, jury's still out on that one, pun intended.
Oh, so is she actually going for a law degree then?
She's doing a paralegal program and
Oh,
she's
okay.
getting really interested by, the work of law. But right now she's working with nonprofits in
Okay.
the nonprofit space. And she's a director there. So she's been promoted very quickly and she's doing pretty great things. It's almost getting difficult to keep track of where she's going next.
So yeah, I mean, um, some of these things, the advantages you guys have had is direct result of your parents, right? Everybody that I know that knows your parents thinks very highly of them, and obviously you guys are a reflection of them. And it shows that they were doing some of the right things when you guys were coming up. So that's really, really good to hear. Are you planning on putting any bass in your? So your dad doesn't drive. The I was talking to your dad when he moved down to Austin. He had a BMW or something that had like 500 miles on it or 1,000 miles on it or something, and it was 10 or 11 years old. So do you drive?
So these days I'm driving a truck and it's definitely yearning for some more sound. I can tell you that much.
So you gonna have your dad build something in it, or?
We've played around with the idea. His
Okay.
main project lately, and something that's been really cool to see, come back to life is the Terminator
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
restoration. He's got a full YouTube series about
Right.
that on his channel. He's been working with this specialty group, working on refurbishing it. And, after that's got a nice, pretty bow on it, it's tough to say what the future might hold.
Yeah. And then obviously the last time we talked to your dad, he was telling us all about how he's still going to school to get a doctorate and some other stuff. So this is actually a great thing for him. It frees up some of his time so he can really focus on completing his schoolwork that he's working towards. Right. You had your opportunity. You completed your school. Now it's your dad's turn to complete his umpteen time in school. Right. So.
Exactly.
So
He
is your
didn't even tell me
Oh, he
until
didn't.
well, originally, whenever he was first finishing up, his first program, he didn't even tell me until it was time for my graduation. So
Oh.
we got a great picture of both of us in our regalia
Oh
going
yeah.
out to
Oh,
graduation
that's
dinner
cool.
together, same weekend.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I thought that was just a really cool, special thing to get to graduate with him. And then he's had, yeah, you're right, umpteenth since then. I'm kind of lost track.
Yeah. He's constantly going to school. You find people that are as bright as him um, never want to stop learning. So they're always
Yeah.
yearning for the next. What can I be better at? What can I learn more? What's gonna make me? What's gonna improve my knowledge base? Not that he's looking for solutions to things, but just the drive to be have a better understanding of the world around him.
And
So
Doug, can I tell you?
go
So
ahead.
for him to get, 4.0, you only need like a 90 with the modern grading system. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
0 to 100.
right.
Hmm.
Guess what
Okay.
his rolling average is in his classes?
I'm sure it's a 4.0,
100
100.
across the board.
Wow.
Yeah. No, he takes everything seriously, right? He takes his businesses seriously,
Hmm.
he
Yeah.
takes the things, going on in life seriously, which is sometimes a detriment. But so are you going to be flying around the country going to shows possibly this year, or what's up?
I sure will. I sure will. So we're looking at, where I could start coming out to shows, getting
Wow.
involved with people, getting to meet with people, like you said in one of your past broadcasts, just getting to go out and break bread with people. I
Yep.
think that's when I really get to open up and, hear other people's stories. So first show I'll be at, I'm going to be at Triple Fest show out in Alabama in April. So
Okay.
if anyone's going to be there weekend of the 25th, definitely hit me up. Would love to connect and network with people. Be there all weekend and really excited about it. Then should have some more shows popping up on the calendar here as things get ramped up. So I'll definitely start posting on my Facebook as I got my travel dates announced.
Awesome.
Mm.
You thinking your dad's Terminator vehicle's loud. Well, back in its day, it was loud. In today's terms, it's not very loud. And
Uh-oh.
every show you go
Right.
to, the first thing everybody wants to do is give you a demo.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Sign me up.
Uh-oh.
Give me all of them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. Has Wayne? I don't think I've seen Wayne do any
Oh yeah. No,
demos.
at
He has.
Autorama,
Okay.
he's done a bunch
Ah,
of
that's
them at
right.
Autorama
Okay.
and stuff. So
He loves it.
yeah.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah. He remember he made the he's made the comment many a times when he came to California. He's pretty sure he got high just walking around. So
That's right.
he says, yeah, the California guys are at a different level. So, but yeah, no, that's awesome. So, I mean,
Mhm.
you're interested in the hair tricks, and so do you have any, not say, but are you helping put together the final stuff like promotional or venue, or are you part of that conversation as operations, or is that not have anything to do with you? Like the rules and the finals, is that your new role?
Great question. So a lot of that is still going to fall on the judges and making sure we're doing what's best for,
Okay.
all competitors.
Mhm.
But anytime I have, ideas to contribute or anything that we think could make it more fun, drive engagement, get more marketing, I've learned a lot of best practices for event marketing as well as, getting more people to come out to shows. And of course, what you learn in a book isn't the same as what you learn actually hosting the thing,
Mm.
Right.
but I'm
Yeah.
looking to, just test more things out, bring more ideas to light,
Hmm.
and get more people out, involved and active. So finals, to answer your question, that's going to be a very big group discussion. But
Hmm.
if anyone has ideas that they want to submit, feel free to message me, email me, ping me. I'll run all that up the flagpole.
Okay.
And then, as we start to look into, rules and other considerations, again, it's going to be a conversation for the larger judging group and
Yep.
leadership team. But I'm always happy to submit feedback and run that up the ladder.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, if you've never called or emailed or texted Celise or Wayne and asked them a rules question, the answer is literally on quick reply for them. It says, I'm not a judge. I don't make judging decisions. Contact your local judge. So Cody will be in the same situation, I'm sure. But like I said, his role may include where, because somebody's got to make the final decision. Is this in? Is this
Mhm.
out? So that may
Mhm.
fall on Cody. Maybe not this year. Maybe in years to come, as his father releases some of that. So with that being said, so I've worked with my dad, and I don't know if Jeffrey ever worked with his dad.
Mhm.
But when I worked with my dad, he was still dad at work. So is he dad or
Oh,
is he Wayne?
still dad, pop. Um, sometimes if I'm calling him Wayne, it's got to be in, like a fun voice so he knows I'm
Okay.
not serious
Okay.
Mm.
calling him out. But we
It,
do share a middle name.
yes, you do. Do you So in a professional setting, like say you guys go to CES or SEMA or something together, in that setting, are you going to call him Dad? Are you going to call him Wayne? How are you going to do in a professional setting?
Interesting.
You haven't been there yet.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So actually, when we were at last few trade shows,
Oh, okay.
I'd be like, depending on who we're at, how comfortable the group is. Whenever it's more professional, I would just call him Wayne, just kind of casually. But it feels weird.
It does?
Because he is my dad at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But my thought on it is Wayne is more than just his name. It's also a title almost in itself. Just because, the name Wayne Harris carries a lot of weight, everything he's done. And so I don't mind referring to him as Wayne if it's, kind of like a title, like, hey, boss, hey, Wayne.
That's cool. Like I said, I've worked with my dad, and I know it's kind of odd. I worked in the drywall trade, so in a physical labor trade, and I don't know how to put this, but we don't treat each other very nicely, and that's being friends. We don't treat each other very nicely in the construction trade. So I treated my dad just like I'd treat anybody else, and I've said a lot of things to him that most people probably don't say to their parents. So. Hey, so do you have any ideas that you were popping around in your head, and not that they're coming, or just some? Have you formulated any ideas that you're kind of bouncing around to see if they might become part of the DB drag world?
That's a great question. Definitely got some ideas in the works. I don't know how many of them I can share. So this is going to be kind of not exactly the answer you were expecting, but definitely looking to get more involved online, across social media channels, having more ways to engage. And then one of my other ideas that we're working on rolling out, just like with the Kickstart program, competing to get your membership early, we're looking for ways that are going to make it more fun and engaging for people to compete. So I'll leave you with that.
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now. Base Race and Top Dog. There is no more fun competition in the world than Base Race and Top Dog. Every time, that's always fun. Right? Would you agree, Jeffrey? Yeah. If somebody wants to just come have fun, always
I totally agree, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do in SoCal now, is really reintroduce Base Race and how fun it is. You got like Rosa at the show yesterday, just livening up the whole crowd, in Base Race. So that's, one of the things I'm working on, doing that. So.
Yeah. So are you familiar with all the formats and how they all work and all that, or not yet?
Right. I've watched over the years as they've been rolled out and making sure I learn up on all the rules, but there is a lot to take in, and taking it day by day, soaking it all in like a sponge.
There you go. Are you going to show up to the one of the shows out there and give somebody an opportunity to try and beat the boss? Are you familiar with that?
Whoa. Where you just stay out there. What is it, the $10 bet? See if anyone can beat the boss?
That's right. Well, you have to win your class to have a chance against the boss. So.
Well, I'm not a gambling man, but if I were, sounds pretty enticing.
So, no, like I said, those are things that help people engage, give people another carrot, right? Because the idea behind it is you give them a carrot, and you give them an opportunity to get that carrot, and that's how you grow your base, I think. I mean, that's my opinion, but I'm a dumb guy that dropped out of high school in his sophomore year, and and worked for a living. So
you're spot on. We want people to be able to compete for prizes. That's part of the fun of it, right?
Yeah. Joel says Rosa beat me in Base Race yesterday. Finally. Congratulations, Rosa. Oh, did it go to a bunch of ties?
No, but Rosa was just she wasn't really confident going into it because she had to go up against like some of the best of the best. There's Brian Bullock, who's like, who's legendary in SoCal as far as Base Race.
No doubt.
And then of course Joel had to come down from San Jose to mix it up with her in Base Race. So she was really unsure of herself, but then after everything was said and done, she was like so totally happy and relieved.
All
I think
right.
that's what Joe. I think that's what Joe was talking about.
Yeah, she actually is in the chat
Oh
right there. She says,
yes.
"Hi guys," and she wants to know finally. And then Cow Killa, not
Oh,
sure what that is.
that's Brian Bullock's
Oh,
nickname.
okay.
It's a long story, but uh, that's what he's known as down
Okay.
here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mhm.
Who took top dog? Oh, Rosa
That's
says,
right.
and I took top dog also. So, Janet wants to know, am I going to be at Autorama? Janet, if you didn't hear the previous podcast, no, I was bought out of Autorama. Bobby Gately didn't realize this is his version. So he told me that he did not realize that I was still going to do Autorama. And so he wanted it to continue. So he actually purchased the right to do Autorama from the Autorama people. So DB Drag or I will not be out there. So that's what I can tell you. I mean, that was traditionally a 5X event. If you didn't know, Cody, it was the only 5X event in the world. So it was 2X on Saturday, 3X on Sunday. Opportunity for people to get their points. With World Finals, that event, and one more event, you would have enough points for finals every year.
Wow.
And it's a bummer that
Yeah.
opportunity's gone for the California people. So, but I mean, it is what it is. We got Joel wants to start doing some 1X shows. Ricky
Oh.
Garcia out of Fresno wants to do some 1X shows.
Awesome.
And oh, by the way, Autorama's still going to go on. It's just going to be IASCA, I think, event. I'm not sure. I'm going to try and get a hold of Bobby, get him to come on and let everybody know what's going on at Autorama. So
There'll be some good guys to meet up with. Cody is who's it again? Ricky, and that's doing the Fresno shows.
Yeah.
He's starting up as a first-time judge, and
Yep.
I'm
And
sure
Joel.
he'd like to get some advice. Joel as well. So
Yep.
Definitely.
And like Ricky, I think Rick's gonna do them, not
okay.
Ricky. But shoot, same as you, right? Ricky's like 23, 24 years old. He's been coming to my shows since he was like 2 years old. And so yeah, so he's Rosa says not the same without the goat Doug. That's okay. And like I said, if we're gonna do a multi-point, I may end up doing a couple multi-points out here this year. During the summer, I'm still here. Jeffrey's here. Jeffrey or I can go take care of a multi-point for you. So California's not going to be hurting for shows, I hope. I'm working to help Jose secure some locations. So hopefully that works out. But like I said, Joel.
I wanted to mention to Cody. So that's
Oh, yeah.
a big hurdle that we have
Yes.
to kind of jump over is finding locations. So if we can kind of delegate that onto you and find us the locations, like your mom was really instrumental in getting Texas a World Finals location.
Yes.
So I know she's got all the smarts to look things up and ask the right questions. So definitely, if you could do that for us California guys, hey, that'd be awesome.
Definitely. Yeah. I appreciate you running that past me because,
Yeah.
that's one thing I've seen Celise handling on the back end. For years, it's definitely a struggle finding the right locations, but anywhere I could help, I'm happy to step in, rip a few dials, call into some people,
Yeah.
see what we can do.
And for people that are interested in being judges, I'll say is all right, Jeffrey, you ready to host some shows in Central Cali? That's what Rosa says.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Cody to visit Spruce Grove finals location from Tyler Archer.
There we go.
That's in Canada. That's at Ray's place. If you didn't know where Spruce Grove was.
Yeah, I hope you got your passport because
Yeah.
Doug...
I guarantee he's got his passport.
I'm looking at it right now. I got it on my desk,
there we
ready
go.
to
Dude,
go.
they've been to Greece and Italy.
that's
and
right.
They
Yeah.
they're world travelers.
Because I'm sure Yanis would
Yes.
probably, find it instrumental to get, your take on a couple of things and help out the European guys.
Yeah. Uh,
Definitely. Yeah, I'm really excited to get involved.
okay. So anybody that's interested in doing a 1X show, great place to start to look for venues is look for car show calendars. And so you can start talking to those car shows. They already have a venue.
Yeah.
They've already got noise permits. They've already got security. And the only difficult part is potentially finding power. Jeffrey has a little generator. You can get a 3,000 watt generator from Harbor Freight for
Mhm.
relatively cheap. So,
And believe it or not, this weekend when I was in San Diego, it was a base meet, so there wasn't any power access to power.
mhm.
I got my little power inverter, and I was able to power up my monitor and the laptop. So I mean, you probably need a little bit more than that, but it doesn't take much.
Yeah. Wayne would discourage that. Just saying.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
That's some dirty power right there.
Hmm.
Calvin says, Jeff, did you ever find out what caused the rash on your inner thigh?
There's Calvin. I didn't see him at the show, man. He's, SoCal.
Yeah, did he make it?
No, he didn't even show up.
How was your
Bummer,
turnout?
Calvin. It was really good. We had about 10 new competitors,
Oh,
which is
awesome.
awesome. But big thanks going out to Don David. He's a staple out there in the SoCal Basehead community.
Hmm.
He said he was bringing a bunch of new guys. It was a new location for me. It was with Santino on the
Right,
show last
last week.
week. He mentioned about where he's at and stuff like that. Got a lot of the guys like Don David involved, and Rose and Moses came down, and they were just like there was a lot of new people.
Hmm.
Well, maybe new to me because I'm
Right.
just coming back to California, so seeing that landscape of these guys with new vehicles and new competitors all together, it's like, man, I need to start playing catch up. But
Well,
big thanks to those guys for
it's
sure.
reinvigorating too, seeing all
Yeah.
the new people, right? I mean,
Hmm.
we love
Hmm.
the old people that we've had relationships with and everything, but
Yeah.
seeing the new blood come in gives it a little extra oomph in there, of hey, we're doing something right, right? I mean
Yeah.
that's part of bringing Cody into this too, right? It's the
Yeah.
same thing. Is hey, we're starting to see some new blood come in,
Hmm.
and that's awesome.
Yes.
Cal says, I didn't even know. I don't go on Facebook much anymore. Hit me up next time, little Manny.
Well, that's because he's got his family now. So I know
Ah,
we were doing shows way back when before he had his little family going. But hey,
okay. Joel says you need to bring more trophies.
yes, I actually owe him a trophy. Thanks for reminding me, Joe. I'll get that out to
All
you
right. Hey,
ASAP. So,
I got you, bro.
oh, there we go. Proxy
I
through
got you.
through Doug.
Yep.
Through
Hit me
Doug.
up. Hit me up tomorrow, Joel. I'll come. I'll drop one off on my way home. So,
Appreciate
um,
it.
yeah, I got it. That way you don't have to cover any shipping or
Well,
anything like that.
Joel, he was competing in all six formats.
I
So
know.
it was like
I,
we're looking at trophies, and me and Dana were like, oh man, I don't think we brought enough.
am I guessing it's a first place trophy you're short?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I got you. I saw you actually had really good sized trophies this event
Oh
too.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's really cool. We
Mhm.
appreciate it. So that's one thing, Cody, that's inconsistent across the DB drag, and I understand why. But the trophies I give out, or Jeffrey gives out, or Jeremy gives out, or whoever Yinis gives out, they're all different. The awards we
Mhm.
give out, and that's really based on it's an economic reason, right? The sponsor of the event, how much money do they
Yes.
have to spend for awards?
Right.
But that's one thing that I don't know how we make more consistent. But I will say the shows I've seen at Jeffries, the shows that I've done, um, and it seems like Jeremy's shows are pretty consistent, right? So the idea also behind having an organization like DB Drag is we want to be for lack of a better term, like McDonald's. So if you go to my show or Jeffrey's show or Jeremy's show, you know you're going to get the same quality product no matter which venue you go to. Is that accurate with what you are trying to continue instilling?
Yeah, that's definitely a great example. We want to have some more communication going on where, I can kind of help go and ping ideas back around and we can start to standardize a few things without, trying to fit everybody into a box. Because, of course, there's going to be, certain considerations the way things are done today. But, any sort of ideas where we could start to have that same, unified appearance, really stand out as this is a prestigious award. That's a great one.
Yeah. DB Drag's done that with they started with the rings, which Jeffrey's probably even got one on. No?
I normally I wear them for my events just so I
you
can
do.
get that street credit, type thing. But
Got to.
with the move and all that, I think I might have put it in a drawer that I forgot, and I wasn't able to. I don't even have them on right now, which I normally do.
So Cody, do you know about Jeffrey's DB Drag tattoo?
World champ, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's
See?
awesome, man.
It's a
That's
world
so
champ in the
cool.
Just
DB
don't
Drag logo.
just don't change the logo. Just don't.
Please.
I'll have to
Deal.
cover up.
Deal.
So yeah, and he's not the only one. We had a gentleman that drove all the way to the 25th anniversary show, and in his return, he did his entire calf in a DB Drag logo.
Did
I've
he?
seen that.
I don't
That
think.
is
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay. I must have missed that.
That was Julio.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Chivo. Team Send
All
It
right.
Chivo.
That's right.
Yep. So he did his entire calf, and he's a big dude. So there was a lot of ink put down on his calf, and so DB Drag has affected many lives, and it's cool to see. I mean, your smile. You probably hate this, but it looks so much like your dad's smile.
With that one a lot.
I just see it in your face. It just because like I've seen pictures of your dad before I met him, and like I said, I've known him since 2001. So we've known each other for quite some time. DB Drag is my addiction, according to Tyler Archer. So
Addicting.
it is. Jeffrey and I talk about all the time how we got you hooked. and truly, Base Race and Top Dog are drivers in that. So, yep.
I think it's just like it's kind of following trends and stuff like that. So, running a successful company like, DB Drag, you have to like follow trends. Like, remember when it was in the beginning, it was just maybe 10 classes, like pro and amateur.
Yep.
Wayne had to make it evolve. Then just doing SPL. He brought on Base Race and Cyclone and stuff like that. So it's just following the trends.
Yep. Do you have a format that you particularly like, Cody?
I love Base Race.
Base Race.
Oh, there you go.
Top Dog
favorite.
too, or you have a affinity for Base Race?
I got love for all of them. So definitely Top Dog too.
That's cool.
But it's just been really cool and awesome getting to see these new formats roll out over the years. And to your point, Jeffrey, how it's really evolved. We want to keep evolving and stay up with the trends and also be setting the trends, coming up with ideas of our own.
Now I want to ask you. So Wayne had said his inspiration for Base Race was he wanted to make it like a video game.
No, that was Top Dog. Top Dog was the video
okay,
game.
That's right, Top Dog. And he had said that his inspiration, the specific video game was Guitar Hero. Does he play a lot of Guitar Hero, or does he still play?
That's so funny. Yeah, we were playing a ton of Guitar Hero, Rock Band, all those classics whenever those first coming out. Not even classics, but the staples of all those guitar games, and he just loved it. That's what he'd always be playing with us. He liked the drums the best.
Okay.
But he definitely hit the guitar too. He'd be playing on medium and hard. No easy.
Yeah.
Wow. And so just imagine for him to kind of translate what he enjoyed doing, you know, playing Guitar Hero and then making it, as a format in DB Drag. That's really cool.
Yep. Are you familiar with the Pankadao format?
Can't say that I am.
All right. Well, if we had
Still
Cody,
relatively new.
it's relatively new. It came, it went away, and Joel is on a personal mission to bring it back. So,
Okay.
do you want to explain to him what it is, Jeffrey, or a good synopsis of what it is?
Actually I found myself, in the same situation
Right?
yesterday as I was explaining
I
why,
know.
Joel set up. Um, if you're familiar with the term the stunt wall, essentially, with the big speaker walls and the back of the vehicles, it was really big in Brazil. I think
Hmm.
that's when it first started. That's the name Pancadão. I think it's Portuguese. Um, I think it actually translates to like hit them or something like that. But so Pancadão essentially is kind of inspired by those stunt walls. And what Joel has done is, he built one in the back of his minivan. Um, we put the sensor about is it
3 feet away,
3 feet
3
away,
feet off the ground.
and off the ground, and it reads frequencies from, I think I was reading this, 35 all the way to 3,000
No,
hertz.
no. It
No,
goes 20 to 25 to
that's right.
20,000. 20 to
That's right.
20,000. Yep, but you have to have the sensor X to do it,
Mm-hmm.
which I
Mm-hmm.
don't have a sensor X. I have every iteration that your dad's ever created except for the sensor X. So I got
So
the .net,
yeah.
I got them all. USB without the USB. I got the whole with the power supply and without. So yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Doug. So
Sounds
it takes all of those frequencies and then it averages them and then it gives the score. Is that
Yep.
correct?
It
Okay.
averages SPL across every individual frequency or um, every band. I think it's
Mm.
eighth octave or something like that. But it averages all the frequencies together essentially, and whatever the
Mhm.
average SPL across all frequencies is what the score is.
So you might see scores that are a little lower,
Like
and
119 is a common score.
yeah, I think Joel did like a 124. He said his personal best was a 140,
Yes, he did.
but a lot of the guys there at the event was like, he's only doing a 120, but he's like, but we're like, dude, you can feel the bass. This is like, that you're at a concert. I feel like I got to pay him admission for this concert that he's putting on for us. But that's pretty much Pankadao and what Joel is trying to, you know, uh, he's gone to different countries. He's been to the Philippines doing Pankadao, trying to raise awareness. He's been Canada,
Mexico, Canada.
Mexico.
Yep.
So,
All the way across the country to Alabama.
yeah. And he
So,
drove 400 miles to my event yesterday.
yep.
So,
awesome.
Yep. So, I mean, like I said, so it's ambassadors like that, like him,
yeah.
Moses. I'm sure there's more in different areas, but because I'm West Coast and I deal with those guys, the ambassadors like that are super important to the sport, because there's a perception when we try to portray the sport and talk to people about it, they feel that we have a vested interest in it, which we do, but they could feel that we're inauthentic in our enthusiasm for it, just because it's a conflict, right? But when Joel or Moses or Rosa or one of those, Tyler, says,
Mhm.
"Dude, this is awesome. This is great. I want," they don't have the interest like we do in it, right? They don't have a perceived bias, and people like that are so important to the sport to help it grow. You know.
Yeah, it'd be maybe instrumental in tapping into, you know, to those guys, to the ambassadors that we look at as ambassadors,
Yeah.
and maybe getting some insight from them
Hmm.
would be a good
You know,
idea.
Jeffrey and Doug, you guys have been asking about some ideas. I can't give out any specifics, but one thing I can share is we're definitely discussing ways that we can recognize those ambassadors and
Hmm,
those people who are driving event attendance. So definitely something to keep an eye out for.
Awesome.
that's cool.
No, I love that. Well, hey, we're already up on our hour. See,
Oh, wow.
it wasn't too
Yeah.
bad, was
And
it,
that
Cody?
flew.
Uh huh.
And I've been doing this show for how long? It still surprises me.
I
We're,
know.
we're already at our hour.
So, Jeffrey, why don't you hit Cody with our last question?
Man, so this is another one of those examples where it's like uh he's the prime example of what we're asking. So it's kind of weird asking Cody the question, but so Cody, I'm sure you've seen the podcast a couple of times. This is a question that we ask all of our guests. Basically, we want to know what is your definition of a basehead.
Right on. I'm glad you asked because great question. What makes a bass head to me is, they're not just the people who are cranking up the subs where you can feel it, shaking the car. They're the people who are competitively cranking it
Mm,
up, loud
yeah.
sound, competitive noise, going to the extreme. Really, you can feel it from inside the car, outside the car, down the street from the car. To me, that is a true bass head and they will not hide it for an instant. You'll be able to spot them a mile away. So I've met a few bass heads in my day. I'm excited to meet even more, and that's how I define a bass head for you guys.
Okay. So,
Cool.
one thing I will tell you, you will meet people being in this industry and whatnot that you would never in the world. I mean, whenever would you have met a sophomore high school dropout, right? That hangs sheetrock for a living. When in your life outside of base would you have ever met somebody like that? I mean, Jeffrey and I have talked about on the
Mm,
show, right? Jeffrey and I are so separate from what we do, but the music and the bass is what we have in common, and it builds what we have. So it will build friendships. I mean, obviously, your dad. Well, how would your dad have ever met Yinis, right?
yeah.
How would your dad ever met Jeffrey, myself, Jeremy, Darren, right? So
Would have never been born,
right.
literally.
So it's the car audio community is so wide and allows you a diverse amount of people to give you perspectives that in any other business would almost never come. So hopefully you can keep that in your back pocket and um, make that better for you. Real quick, Adrian Hernandez pops on. No more Cali shows. That is
Oh
incorrect.
man, we had one yesterday. I didn't even see him there.
I
But
know.
I think Adrian, are you in Vegas now? I think he might be in Vegas,
Oh, okay. So, then he's
but
real
that's gonna
close to you.
change.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
So that's gonna change. We got a lot
Yes.
of people trying to do shows out here. So,
And believe it or not, the venue was awesome. They want us back,
oh,
so for
cool.
sure we're gonna have more shows. We didn't get to meet Jason, who's I think he's the owner of the shop.
Okay.
He was blown away. He said he loved it. He wants me back. So just keep your eyes peeled for Advanced Car Stereo and Riverside DB Drag shows coming up soon.
Did you have an opportunity to live stream it?
No, no,
Okay.
believe it or not, it was non-stop. I was joking around with a lot of the guys there, and I was like, it almost seems like these guys are getting withdrawals, So
Yeah.
Jeffrey's back doing his show. Hey man, I got to get my fix. Let's just go to the show. And to the guys that were, I don't want to say hating on the show, saying it was going to get shut down and all that. I mean, cops came twice, but they were really cool. I got a chance to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, I just let the show or I let the
Shop.
shop talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
But and I know Santino. I know he knows how to talk to the local authorities. So I kind of wanted to see how, maybe if I get a chance and, cop start talking to me, just how to handle things. But they were being totally cool. They're like, somebody call, we got to come out, just keep it down a little bit. And shout out to the competitors and the guys that were there. Sometimes you might get that guy who's like, man, I'm not letting these guys tell me what to do and just crank it up the whole time and spoil it for everybody. But no, they were being really respectful, which, they probably heard my plea last week when I was like, please, everybody be on your best behavior because we want to come back. But believe it or not, I got a call or I got a message from one of the competitors and says, hey, I'm going to be there early. Let us, handle the, like if somebody comes and starts playing their music really loud and being disrespectful, let us handle it, which kind of blew me away. And I was like, normally that's my job, type thing to kind of diffuse the situation. But I think that's really cool when, they take it upon themselves to kind of police each other, which was kind of a pleasant surprise. So shout out to everybody, who supported and made sure we all had a good time.
That's awesome. All right, Cody, how do people get a hold of you, text you, do blah, blah, whatever? How do we reach DB Drag Cody?
For sure. So first, you can check me out on Facebook. I'm in the user group for DB Drag Racing. And then also you can feel free to email me at Cody@dbdragracing.com. It's my handle, Cody, Cody, @dbdragracing.com. I'm open to any inquiries, emails, reach out to me, especially if you're interested in being a judge. If you want to know what goes into judging your first show, we've got plenty of information and resources for you, other references like you guys have worked with. And, whether you've been judging 20, 30 years like you guys, however long you've been doing it, or whether it's your first show, we've got plenty of people for you to talk to and that you'll be joining. It's a really awesome community that you're going to be a part of, and really excited to be working with everybody.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Jeffrey, what you got? Anything new coming up?
Not really so much coming up, but I really want to be a part of the base meets. I know they got some going on down here in SoCal.
Okay.
I know our friend Tony Harvey. I think the team name is DTP. He's doing weekly base meets every Friday night. So I keep telling him I'm gonna try to make it out to it. We'll bring a meter. And then we'll try to, reinvigorate DB Drag Racing all over again. So
yeah, even if you only go once every other week or once a month, it makes a difference. That's how I started building California, right? Is I would literally go to a stereo shop and say, hey, announce for 2 hours. I'm going to be here. I'm going to meter cars, show people how to compete.
Yeah.
And then go to another stereo shop and do the same thing. And that's how I built up the California car audio. And then once you get people like Joel and Moses and Rosa, and then they start bringing people. Always, like we've said on this show 100 times, right? If everybody brings one person, every show we double the amount of people that were there. That is really that simple. Joel says he drove 800 miles that day. He drove down there and then straight back home. Yep. Did the show and came home. All right, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank Cody Harris. Cody, good job. Good to meet you out here on this thing. I haven't seen you since, man, I don't even remember the last time I saw you. I saw you in Vegas or something when you were a little kid. But obviously your mom and dad talked about you quite a bit. And so, I in the background, I've known what's going on in your life and whatnot for a very long time. Jeffrey, as always, great job, sir.
Thank you.
And, like I said, we appreciate you guys. I'm going to try and hit up Bobby for next week, Bobby Gately, and have a little talk about Autorama. And let's talk about what he's actually going to be doing there and see if he's got some stuff nailed down and whatnot. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. We'll be back next week at 6:30 California time, the only time that matters. We'll see you next week on This Week in Car Audio. Peace. We out.